did that one.
No. There we go. All right. Go ahead, ma'am. Do your stuff.
Alrighty. Schiffman's Asthmador. Missouri, 1938. As the sun was setting, Chet leaned against the chain link fence across the road from the prison's driveway. He looked cool and confident, except for the twitchiness of his hands and a certain haunted look in his brown eyes. Should he have a smoke while he waited to catch Johnston, the prison screw, as Johnston headed home for the day? Smoking always calmed Chet's nerves. When he was inside, he'd seen that Johnston could be relied on to procure a little reefer or a Valomilk candy bar or some French postcards for the prisoners, for the right price, of course. He'd heard rumors Johnston might do more than bring in contraband, quite a bit more, according to some of the hard-timers on Chet's cell block. He believed them. He wanted something very particular, and Johnston was the only one who could help. He felt his chest tighten as he waited. He noticed he was wringing his hands. Better calm down. Being nervous sometimes brought on one of his asthma attacks. No time for that now. He reached into his pocket for his smokes. He admired the new packaging. Before he'd gone into the joint, Schiffman's Asthmador cigarettes had come in plain gray cardboard boxes by prescription. Now, 2 years later, you could buy them off the druggist shelves. The new packaging was eye-catching. A tin case enameled Kelly green with a drawing of some chump, presumably Schiffman himself. Chet reckoned he'd seen better heads on mugs of beer. He placed the medicated cigarette between his lips, closed the shiny case with a satisfying snick, and struck a match against the sole of his prison-issue work boots. He'd only been out of the joint for a couple of days, and he wasn't interested in shopping for new shoes. So far, the only thing he'd bought were a few tins of Asthmador. He had smoked 2 entire tins in the last 2 days and was halfway through his third. Chet loved the things. He hadn't been able to get them very often when he was in the joint, mainly because Doucette took everything, food, clothes, self-respect, and beat him to a paste if he tried to object. Chet learned fast and took his lumps. What else could he do? It was full dark now. Where the hell was Johnston? Chet stamped his feet to warm them up. A 37 Ford emerged from the prison's gravel driveway, headlamps piercing the dark. This is it. Chet flagged the car down. Sure enough, Johnston was at the wheel, heading home after shift change. Hey, is Sissy miss your prison boyfriend? Johnston's neck was thicker than Chet's bicep. Even after working a 10 in the prison, his uniform was clean and pressed. He kept his hair cut short and neat, his face clean-shaven. Despite all that, something about Johnston made Chet want to wash his hands. Chet's brows met in a frown, but he kept his cool, shrugged off his discomfort. Give me a ride, Johnston. I can make it worth your while. Johnston looked him up and down, then leaned across the bench seat and opened the passenger side door. Chet flicked the butt of his smoke on the ground and got in the car. Johnston drove for a quarter of a mile, and when Chet didn't speak, eventually Johnston did. Okay, Nancy, what do you need? He took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. I want Doucette's head in a fucking box. Johnston smirked, but it melted from his face when he saw that Chet was serious. Didn't like being the little woman for your cellie. Exactly. What makes you think I'm the man for the job? Chet smiled and pulled his wool jacket closer around his wiry frame. He drummed his fingers on the tin Asthmador case in his pocket. People talk in prison. So this car proves it. How do you have last year's model on a prison guard salary? Johnston grinned, macabre in sudden boyishness. Would you believe that my wife is an heiress? He winked. Chet shuddered inwardly but kept his cool. I would not. Look at you. You're an animal. Johnston stopped smiling. He thought a beat. Then he said, head actually sawed off and delivered in what, a wooden butter box? Yep. No fooling, cut it off, not just give him a Cincinnati smile? If I wanted his throat slit, I could have done that myself. Sure, right, Johnston sneered. Johnson drove on in silence for a long moment. 500, he said. A fortune, to be sure, but Chet knew where he could get his hands on that kind of scratch. Even though Chet was poor, his grandfather was not. The old man didn't believe in banks or paper money. He always converted any money not needed for immediate expenses into gold coins or gems and kept the whole stash squirreled away in his house. If you asked him about it, Gramps would tell you a long and boring story about how his own father lost his fortune when Confederate bills became worthless after the Civil War. The old man had still been sharp when Chet went into prison, but according to a letter Chet's sister sent him about 6 months ago, Gramps had changed. He was so addled now he wouldn't notice if Chet helped himself to all the little stashes the old man had hidden over the years. 500 in gold coins and gems okay with you? Chet asked. Gold coins, yes. Gems, no. Too easy for them to be glass or paste or something. Hard to get value out of them from pawn shops and fences. When do you want it done? By tomorrow night. Tight time frame. Better make it 600. Sure, Chet said, taking the green enamel tin from his pocket. Mind if I smoke? Do your worst, Tiger. And I want half up front, the other half on delivery. Chet gave Johnston his grandfather's address, and shortly they pulled up out front. Johnston turned off the engine. House don't look like much. You sure you got that money? Johnston said. He cracked his knuckles against the steering wheel. 300 up front, 300 when you bring me Doucette's head in a box. I'll be back in 20 minutes with the first payment. Wait here. Johnston shrugged. Chet exited the car and used his key to open his grandfather's front door. The old man was sprawled on the Chesterfield, jaw slack as he slept. The arm of the Chesterfield was damp from Gramps drooling. The radio was on full blast, tuned to some comedy program Chet had never heard before. Lots of changes in the past 2 years. Chet walked quietly through his grandfather's house, searching all the niches and hiding places he had discovered when he was a boy. It only took 10 minutes to find slightly more than $300 worth of gold coins. He carefully counted them. I can come back tomorrow night to find the rest. He put what he needed to give to Johnston in a pillowcase and stuck the remaining coins in his pockets, his socks, and even into his prison-issue underwear. He left his grandfather's house as quietly as he had entered. When Chet climbed back into Johnston's car, he said, Here it is, 300. Meet me back here tomorrow with the box after dark. I'll have the rest of the money for you. If I give you an extra $10, will you drop me at the YMCA? Sure thing, Nancy. You got a boyfriend there too? Chet glowered at Johnston, said nothing. Ah, come on, I'm just breaking your balls. I don't mean anything by it. Doucette's twice your size and as mean as he is crazy. You're right to want his head after what he did to you. Chet nodded, his lips compressed in a stern line. I think so. After Johnson dropped him off within a block of the YMCA, Chet sat up all night in his room, chain-smoking his asthmadors, and imagining all the brutal ways Johnston might liberate Doucette's head from his body. As the night wore on, his fantasies became more bloody. He imagined that once he had Doucette's head in a box, maybe he'd be able to talk to it. Maybe it might answer back. Around dawn, Chet noticed that the walls of his small room were breathing. In, out, in, out. The same slow rhythm of Doucette's breathing when he was sleeping in his bunk below Chet in their cell. Wait, what? Chet asked himself. Something's wrong with me. Walls don't breathe. Doucette is not here with me in the YMCA. This is crazy stuff, real rubber room shit. Chet tried to lie down in his bed, but moving made him nauseated. His head was pounding, his mouth dry. Something is happening to me. I need a doctor. Slowly, Chet made his way down to the front desk, stopping every few stairs so he didn't vomit. Weak and shaking, he held onto the reception desk with both hands, knuckles white. The desk clerk stared at him. Mister, you don't look right. You don't say, said Chet. The young desk clerk, green enough to be immune to sarcasm, said, Yeah, it's like your eyes are nothing but pupil. Did you smoke some reefer or something? We don't allow that at the YM. Chet vomited on the reception desk. Let me help you over to those chairs, mister. Then I'm calling you a doctor. Chet sat where the clerk put him while the room seemed to spin around him. The walls of the lobby are breathing too. After what seemed like an eternity, the doctor arrived. Chet couldn't exactly follow the doctor's conversation with the clerk, but there was some shouting, and then Chet felt himself being lifted. They're carrying me to a car? Then nothing. He came to in a crisp white hospital bed. Someone had sponged all the vomit off him and dressed him in a thin cotton hospital gown. He had a rubber IV tube going into his left arm. His stomach hurt, his agonized throat felt raw, his head pounded. He was also jonesing for a cigarette. He rang for the nurse. She entered the room, tall, middle aged, green eyed, used to be pretty. Her hair was in a tidy bun, her starched white nurse's cap perched on top of her head. He croaked, "Where's my smokes, my clothes, my money?" He struggled, but managed to sit up in his hospital bed. The nurse scowled, the lines around her mouth deepening. "Your clothes are being laundered. Your money went into the safe. The cigarettes are the reason you're here, so I'm not giving them to you." "What? How many of those have you smoked in the past few days?" "Maybe 4 packs." "Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, it's a wonder you're still alive." "I don't understand." "Those cigarettes, you aren't supposed to smoke that many." "Why not? They're for my asthma." The nurse sighed. "Yes, for your asthma, which means they're medicated." She nearly spat each syllable. "Yeah, so? So they contain belladonna leaves, not just tobacco, to say nothing of the tincture of opium. You've been poisoning yourself, you chump," she said, her cheeks bright pink with irritation. Chet shrugged. "Okay, what time is it? When can I leave?" "You can't leave yet," she said, stern. "Try and stop me." Her chest rose and fell as she took a deep, calming breath. "Sir, you don't understand. We thought you had swallowed poison, so we pumped your stomach, gave you activated charcoal. It didn't help. We needed to do something else. The poison wasn't in your stomach. We have finally figured out you'd inhaled it, and you are not out of the woods yet." "Meaning what?" Chet snapped. "Meaning if you leave hospital right now, you will die. You might even die if you stay. Your only chance to survive is to stay here, get more treatment. We've sent for a poisoning specialist and are just trying to keep you alive till he gets here. He has developed an antidote to belladonna poisoning, but now it's a race against time." "You can say that again, sister." He glanced out the window at the glowering dark. "What time is it?" He was surprised he had the strength to shout. The nurse sighed. "It's almost 6 p.m. You got somewhere else to be rather than in hospital trying not to die?" Chet swung his legs off the bed and planted his feet on the floor. He was shaky, but he could stand. "As a matter of fact, I do. I gotta meet a guy and pay him for something important, and I don't need no lippy broad telling me what's what." "Do you not understand that you will die if you leave?" Her hands were on her hips. Her voice was loud, exasperated. "Do you not understand that I don't give a rat's ass?" Chet shouted back. The nurse turned on her heel and stalked out of the room. By the time he had yanked the IV from his arm, found a pair of hospital slippers, and put on a second hospital gown, backwards, so his ass was covered, she had returned with the gold coins and his last remaining tin of Asmodors. Only 3 or 4 snipes left in the tin. He wanted one. "I'll make you a deal, darling," Chet said, as he signed the form acknowledging that he was leaving against doctor's orders. "You call me a cab and I won't light up another one of these darts until the cab pulls out of the parking lot." "It's your funeral," she said, disgusted. When Johnson pulled up in front of Chet's grandfather's house, the porch light was on. He could see Chet lying in a heap on the front porch next to a lumpy pillowcase. Johnston picked up a newspaper wrapped box from the floor of his 37 Ford and set it, gingerly, beside Chet's body. The layers of newspaper, thick though they were damp and had started to seep red at the bottom corners. Johnston would need to clean the car tonight. Satisfied with the heft of the pillowcase, Johnston walked back to his car, put it in gear, stomped on the gas pedal, and headed home to have dinner with his wife. It was pot roast night.
Wow. That was intense.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you very much. So, are you working on a collection or of short stories or?
I am. I am. One. It's actually. It'll probably be one short story and two novellas. Um. So one of the novellas is kind of a retelling of the Persephone myth, and the other one is a retelling of a folk tale from, well, it's in Ireland and Scotland and all over Scandinavia, um, many places. Um, I don't think anybody knows the exact origin of the tale. It's that old, but it's about some sisters that have a falling out over a man, and then a short story that I'm calling The Birth, which is about someone who's buried alive.
Wow, you have a scary imagination.
I was just going to say that.
Yes, yes, I do.
I look forward to seeing those. So, how are things otherwise?
They're good. Um, writing goes slowly for me. I've got a new job, and there's been I've only been there a year, but I got a promotion, and so there's a real learning curve with the new duties and responsibilities, and that's really cut into my writing time in a lot of ways. But I'm trying to find that work life balance, and we'll see if I'll get there. Other than that, I mean, what's new in COVID? I registered today to get my shot.
Oh yeah,
I'm in the I'm in the next age group to go, so
yep, I got a notice saying I could register too, and I just didn't do it today. I meant to, so I'll be poked again.
Yeah, me
soon,
too. Me too. I got one too.
Yeah.
Rob's other partner D gets her shot on Sunday.
Fun.
And I'm gonna take her on Sunday, I think, because um, he's got sciatica and it's acting up right now, and it's affected his mobility,
Oh yeah.
and so it would be hard for him to accompany her to different appointments, and so it's Chloe to the rescue. So
Good stuff.
yeah,
Good stuff. So with this new job, can you work from home or are you going to the
I,
site?
I do work from home. Yeah.
Okay, so that's not so bad. You don't have the commute though to read or write or carry on. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, what I find after sitting at my desk all day doing work on my computer, the last thing I want to do is sit at my desk some more and do more work on the computer.
Don't we know
Yeah.
about that?
That's why you need an iPad so you can sit in a comfy chair.
Yeah. Well, I've been actually thinking now that the weather's a little better and a little warmer, I might actually just take my notebook out to the park and do some writing in the park. And that might be the change of pace that I need after a day of my nose to the grindstone.
Yeah, I hear that. There are days when now I'm retired and leisurely apparently. There are days when I'm really sick of sitting at this desk.
Oh, I
For
bet.
sure, yeah. So today I had to go out to the eye doctors, but I went to the mall and sat and had a coffee and people watched. That was sort of interesting.
Oh,
I,
yeah.
I did notice that it's pretty clear that lots of people don't know how to people anymore. There was a fair bit of weird behavior, so, so it was interesting.
Well, what gets me about people watching these days is based on how many people wear their masks, I now completely understand why contraceptives fail.
I agree. Yeah.
Supposed to cover your nose and mouth. Both
Yes.
of them.
Yeah, we saw a few examples of that today.
Yeah, quite a few examples
Can
of
you
that,
push your mic back or something?
and quite a few,
No,
quite a
away
few
from you. Away from you.
away from me.
Yeah, it's really reverberating.
Quite a few uh, temper incidents too. People getting really testy with each other.
Oh,
I went a couple of days ago. I went out also to the lab to get blood tests done, and this guy was
Sorry, I just figured out what
wanting
that noise
ahead in
was.
the line, was unimpressed that there was a line,
Mm.
and the woman
You
sort of
hadn't-
screening everyone was to jump to it and get him something that the requisition hadn't actually arrived from his doctor yet. And so she was just being annoying because he should be able to just pick up this kit to do a sample of something, and she's like, you actually don't have to talk to me like that. I'm just doing my job. And wow. And so they had most of us waiting in our cars, in the queue ahead of them, and
right.
one of the guys that was in the car said, "Hey, leave her alone. We're busy and we're all in the line up ahead of you. Get in the line, buddy." This kind of thing. And he's like, "How about you F off?" And there's I thought there was going to be a fist fight.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because
then,
they're one of the only, what's the word I'm looking for here? Stores isn't the right word.
They're-
Outlets, I guess.
that doesn't have a security guard.
And you
So
can you can pull that mic back now. That was all my doing.
there was
I had my
no
speakers on.
there was no security dude there or dudette, but there was this guy who had to be 80,
Sitting in his walker.
sitting on his walker,
Mhm.
and he was waiting by the door for his turn, and he's sort of sitting there taking all this in, and he while she went in to confer as to whether they could just give him the kit so he'd go away, whether the requisition was there or not. I mean, it's not going to get processed without the requisition, obviously.
Mhm.
And while she went in to confer with her co-workers, this guy's talking him down off the ledge, and he had him calmed down and actually laughing by the time she got
Yeah, that guy was funny though.
back out. It was funny. He's like, "Hey, I'm just here, and I'm not getting involved, but
I'm just hanging out in my chair. He was quite content to sit there all day. You know what? He probably wouldn't have been as nice had the weather been a little more snarky.
Yeah, the weather was nice for waiting in line.
Although she was a
Wasn't
little
too bad.
confused when you pointed at the same car I got into.
No, it's people like that make me wish I had a cattle prod and was allowed to use it.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I ran into a few of those lately too.
I was about an inch away from getting out of my car and saying, "Hey, you're messing with my time. How about you don't?"
Yeah.
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 And-
Exactly.
But anyways, it was funny that this older guy was able to talk him
Well,
down.
And like, what's the big deal? Like, if you can't wait, then come back, and they'll give you the jar to poop in.
Oh, well,
some other time.
this wasn't a jar to poop in he needed.
Yeah, it was another thing which struck me is that perhaps the actual problem was that he was feeling that his manhood was questioned, perhaps.
Oh.
Yeah. So that there was a bit of an ego tweak happening already before he got there.
Ugh.
So that might have been why, but still.
And
I only caught the-
ruins the party again.
I only caught the inside discussion. I heard the nurses talking about it, or the whatever you want to call it.
Lab techs, yeah.
Lab techs talking about it, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
you know what? I wouldn't mess with lab techs or nurses or
Anybody that has a giant needle that could
anyone
make your
in the
day really
healthcare
bad.
fields.
Yeah. And she said, "Hey, feel free to go to one of the other labs."
Yep.
And he said, "Well, this is the lab in my community. I'm allowed to come here." And she said, "Yes, so how about you have some respect for your community and the other people in line ahead of you?" Wasn't going for it because it
Yeah,
seemed like an easy thing, and he shouldn't have to talk to
The Darwinism was really out
lab
that
tech, and they don't give that stuff out until they tell you how to use it properly, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they also have to have a requisition because that needs to go in the bag with the thing of all of
exactly.
those kind of tests. Like it has to go in there. So she said, "We don't have a requisition for this test for you. Here's the requisition we do have, and this test is not on it. But feel free to take the test." So I thought, wow, she did well. So then when I did get called in and the guy that was talking to him from the car came in behind me, he was behind me in line, and she thanked him for his help. And I said, "Good on you for pushing back."
Yep.
You don't need that kind of crap.
No,
they-
not at all.
They do need, I think, someone there, and it's unfortunate, but they do need someone there that's in a security uniform just to be a presence that people.
I mean, look at the ferry
Yeah, I
system
think
on there
so.
now. Nothing they
People
can do
get
anything.
super edgy
Yeah.
waiting in line
Yeah.
at well, just they get super edgy waiting in line.
Yep.
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and I've noticed that every time I go out, even just to like Walmart or something, people do not want to wait in line for the cash register. They do not want to wait in line. They just haven't peopled, and they don't remember that you have to wait in line sometimes, and you are in fact not going to die from that.
Yes, well, and that even when we've all been vaccinated and the masks are off, we'll still probably have to wait in line,
Yep.
Oh yeah,
right? Because there's been changes to the supply chain, um,
All around.
across multiple industries, which means shortages of products, which means,
Gotta go eat.
it's a whole chain reaction of things that happen. So like life has changed, it's outside of your control, and you need to get over it.
yeah, yeah. So it's fascinating. So I'm busy taking notes, going, that would make a good story. Where can I put
About
this guy in my novel? Yeah.
But a lab tech who suddenly develops the ability to explode other people's heads with her mind.
Well, I wasn't going there, but that's good. Yeah. So, are you going to stay and chat with me, or you need to get moving, or what's
I
your...
should probably mosey on to my next activity, but it was nice to come and read. This scrolling window that you've got of comments is neat. They're too tiny for me to read on the Zoom screen, but I see that it's scrolling.
Let me see. I can make it bigger. If there's any comments. Oh my goodness. There's lots of comments. How have you been? Oh, somebody's asking for a giveaway, of course. What you doing? Somebody says they have a low IQ. And that would have been when you were reading. You have an extensive vocabulary, Chloe. And then they're fighting behind the scenes here, it looks like. They do that on this chat.
What are they fighting about?
I don't know. I haven't argued. Can't see the messages they send to each other. So, enjoyed the story, and are you married? I always get that.
Yes.
Is that, and how old are you? That's the two questions. Always.
I've been married for almost 21 years, and I'm 53.
There you go. All right. So that's about it.
Oh, and the one question that people have asked before about that short story in readings, just in case anyone wondered,
Yeah.
people really did used to treat asthma with medicated cigarettes back in the 20s and 30s, and they actually were prescription and then became over the counter. So, and they had belladonna and tincture of opium in them, as well as tobacco. So
Wow.
yeah, that's actually what inspired the story, was learning that little factoid. So
My second husband smoked menthol cigarettes when he had a cold and swore that it made breathing easier.
yeah, you know what? My grandma said the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a chain smoker.
Yeah. Things would be easier if you didn't smoke in the first place, which was usually my response, but okay.
It's true. It's true. Well, but I mean, people and their addictions, right? Like that's a topic.
Absolutely. There's a topic for another day. I have just myself finished a book that's going to be kind of like your Hector, a smaller book of collection of poetry.
Oh, nice.
It's called Untethered.
Good
And
title.
it's based on poetry. I had a journal that I started just after my father passed away, and I journaled poetry. So there's all kinds of poetry about grief and about discovering who you are, and when you become untethered, when you lose
Right.
that thing that grounds you.
Untethered is a great metaphor for the experience of grief.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's being, edited, and I sent it to somebody as a beta reader who's a poetic Mikey. Give it to Mikey. You don't like anything, so if it passes that, we're doing pretty good.
Nice.
So we'll see how it gets tightened up, and then I'm hoping to release it at the end of May. And that's the first of my own stuff that I've released in a long time.
Yeah, that's true. It has been a while, hasn't it?
I'm hoping to finish the novel I started years ago, but it's kind of stuck in some spots yet. I need to do some research and work around some holes in the plot that annoy me and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
But it'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you're anything like me, you've got lots of partly finished projects, and it's not the starting of them, it's the finishing of them that's the really,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So this isn't the first I've written. This is the first I've finished
Mm.
in a while. Yeah. So okay. Well, we'll let you go
I
and
see
get on
your
with
friends are back.
your night. Thanks for dropping by,
No problem at all.
and let us know when that goes to print.
Okay. Yeah, as soon as I've got some, I mean, if you want, I could send you the two novellas to have a look at. The short story is, it's close to being done. It's close. It's not quite there yet, but um I wanted the whole thing to be over 40,000 words. And so kind of felt like the two novellas by themselves wasn't enough. But I mean, maybe you're a better judge of that than me. So
What were you thinking of calling it?
I was thinking of calling it, well, and here's the thing. I was thinking of calling it Three's the Charm, except there's not three things in it. So, but I'm open to changing the title. We could also call it, I mean, we could just call it Fables, Fictions, and Fantasies Part 2, would be the other thing.
Okay.
And I have a great image to use for it that's really pretty and in the public domain, and 300 DPI. As
Perfect.
expected. Yeah,
Perfect.
it's got butterflies and mushrooms. It's a pretty blue. So
Oh yeah, so that would make a good part 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Similar to the
well, and because a lot of the colors on Fables are orangey, to do the other one mainly in blues, they'd look nice sitting next to each other.
Yeah.
which is important. We want people to collect. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe I won't do it tonight because I'm just toast, but tomorrow I'll send you those two things in manuscript, and you tell me if you think it's long enough to make a book, and we'll go from there.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you have a good night.
Yeah, you
All right. So, exclamation iBooks.
Go ahead, speak.
And
That's better.
Ashby Boo is here.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for that, Ash.
Thanks for that, Ash. Did you hear Chloe's story? Like, I don't know how long you've been in channel.
It doesn't tell me. All better. Yeah, it was I knew that was going to happen. I tried to fix it earlier, but it didn't come up on the screen. But it was when we came back to this screen with those cameras in behind.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I had you muted. I could not hear you.
Alrighty.
You think they want a book or something?
Yep, it looks like. Oh, so you missed her reading her story. That was pretty,
Pretty interesting.
yeah, she does a lot of research
Mm-hmm.
and has a really broad vocabulary, so it's quite interesting to hear her stuff.
Geez, they're still going. Uh-oh.
But
What kind of flood? Has to be dealing with a flood.
dealing with a flood of emotion.
The water type?
Yeah, you get plumbing issues, maybe.
It takes a minute for her to type it. Give her a second to catch up.
Yes. Well, so there's a YouTube clip of her, Chloe, reading before, or she read before a couple
How long
weeks
was the
weeks
read?
ago, and this will go up as well. So.
Oh, fun.
What?
Read her chat.
Oh, your washing machine. Yeah, ours has been leaking lately too.
That's
Not-
that seal. We need to clean it.
Not too impressed with that concept. You finish your payments on the thing, and then now it goes for a shit. Like, not good.
It did this before. It means that filter that I told him to clean
Isn't
is
clean.
full.
Is full. Alrighty, do the draw.
No. Give me
Can
2
I make
seconds.
Can I make a full video on tips?
Tips about what?
Tips about what? Tips
Hang on. I
about
can't play. I can't do the draw. There we go. Now I can. I couldn't find Nightbot.
tips about
Here it
how
comes.
to have technical difficulties constantly on Twitch. I could do that.
Hey, we don't have them constantly.
No, I seem to have them like all the time.
Everybody does. It just won't stop. Oh, that's the switch. Yeah, that's the water sensor.
Did you text Mr. Fix-It downstairs?
Because he's off tomorrow.
Because he's off tomorrow.
Hey.
And just turn your water off at the back.
It's the water sensor.
Yeah, just like where it comes in from the wall into this.
No, it's in the tank.
No, what I'm saying, to cut the
Shut the
water
water
off.
feed, yeah.
Shut the water off just now. And then get.
There's your winner.
Here's a winner.
Good luck.
Offer aft a tenant. Tenant, yeah. Offer aft the afty tenant has won the giveaway. So you want to whisper to Hyperlinks 256 and and he will tell you how to claim that. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm going to read.
Yay. Oh, hang on. Hold it.
Thank you for the follow.
And a follow. Oof.
Or Mace Steads or something. The mother-in-law was. Oh yeah, it's really done. Yeah, so probably replacing it's not going to be a
Shopping
thing.
it is.
Because there's that guy that fixed our stuff.
Oh, shopping for anything like that is difficult now.
Well, I got mine from your favorite rent-to-own place,
Oof. By the way,
and it's lasted me pretty good.
I would stay away from the sausages.
Yeah?
Whoa.
Intense.
Intense. I think a
Okay.
jalapeno.
Okay, I'm going to read,
Okay, I'm going to shut up now.
and this is from the novel that I'm working on called Why, currently, although I might pull it out and do it as a short story on its own because it's kind of weird. And you'll realize that when as
Just
I
kind
read.
of weird.
Yeah. The font is good, but my eyeballs are like I said, done from the eye doctors.
I wonder if it was going to be difficult for you to read.
Excuse me. Yeah, the eye doctors say the lights are. I was blinded by this amazing light at the eye doctors, and my eyeballs are like not happy. So currently, this is chapter 24 of this novel, but like I say, I may pull it out for a short story in its own right. There we go. Roddy checked the camera feeds and made notes. The storm front had shifted, but remained at the required intensity. Roddy tapped a dial and checked another. Reading. He walked along a long white counter, searching the cabinet drawers below and selecting a few items, and then opening the last glass cabinet doors above the counter, pulling out some tubing. He went back to the wave monitor and replaced the tubing on it with that which he had pulled from the cupboard. Giselle noted readings from other equipment in the room on a clipboard and ran the analysis program monitoring the death count associated with the storm. Roddy returned to his desk, scanned the media reports, and chuckled out loud. "Did you see this?" he said, turning to his co-worker. "They're calling us climate change now." Giselle came over to Roddy's station and looked over his shoulder at his computer screen. "Yes, there," she said, pointing to the text on the screen. "Fossil fuel overconsumption is destroying the ozone layer. Our work used to be blamed on the whims of the gods, and now they have the audacity to assume that they control their own weather and climate," sniffed Roddy, shaking his head. "I don't know that it is a sense of control so much as the idea that there is a necessary balance for all things to survive. That seems to be accurate from our analysis," said Giselle, returning to her station. "Messing up the balance and seeing what survives is what we do best, and they can't stop that process by recycling or taking the bus. It is amusing that they think so, though," said Roddy. Excuse me. "I'm glad these experiments are such a nice pastime for you, but the whole point of this project is to remove the human vermin from the planet so that we can harvest the resources before they use them all up." "Get to work," barked Dr. Rousseau over the intercom. Giselle might observe that Dr. Rousseau was sounding tired at the end of her very lengthy shift, but kept her thoughts to herself. Roddy walked past her and handed her his clipboard with notations on it and a scrawled note. "Dr. R needs to monitor her hormonal levels more closely." Giselle giggled and pulled her lab coat closer. She hugged herself with her lower arms while rubbing them with her upper arms to chase off the chill. Dr. Kostov always kept the lab so chilly, but Giselle never remembered to bring the extra sweater she kept in her locker. Glancing at the time on her computer screen, she concluded that she only had a few more minutes before her sleep break, and reconciled herself to warmth by shivering. The soft whoosh of the lab door opening opening and closing caused Roddy to turn and look in that direction. Giselle knew who was entering by the padding of rubber-soled shoes, one with a slight squeak. Giselle copied notes from her clipboard to the Journal of Findings, and frowning slightly at Roddy's illegible notations preceding hers. "Dr. Kostov, do you think I could go for my sleep break early today? I've completed all my observation notes, and Giselle is hogging the journal. I can update in the next shift." "That researcher from the Pestilence Project is making sleep time interesting for you, is she?" said Dr. Kostov, looking over his glasses at Roddy. "Oh, yes. It's fascinating what they've accomplished by reviving various viruses and disseminating misinformation on vaccines that the humans have developed. Oh, interesting. I wrote this like a couple of years ago. That's really interesting,
Can I
hey?
interrupt you for a second?
I forgot about that.
Jump back into OVS and shut off the camera background. Because you're stuttering like you wouldn't believe.
Really?
Yeah, it's too much for your poor little pooter to handle.
Shut off camera?
No, shut off the
NDI.
NDI. Just completely remove it. Highlight it and hit minus.
Actually, it is shut off.
No, highlight it, hit minus. It's still streaming.
It hit, minus.
Because it's your background. And then turn on your other background.
Confirm, remove. Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, so select chatting on your, that's what's wrong. Select chatting on your left screen.
Yeah.
Okay, see the background? You got to get rid of that.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah. So remove that completely. And guess what you didn't do before you started?
What?
Rebooted.
Oh, that's true.
And
yeah.
it's showing. There you go. You're better now.
Let's
see.
Minus.
You know what we also need to do? Is lift that shot up. Your head's disappearing into the thing again.
Is that minus or plus? Minus.
It's gone. Now transfer it over. Transition it over. Sorry to interrupt, boys and girls.
Okay. There. Alrighty. Sorry about that.
What's your data rate down at the bottom?
Data rate.
Down at it's very hard to read.
You're asking
See
someone.
see the green button?
Yes.
What is it? Green?
Yes. 6205.
Oh, you're fine. Okay. Just give it a
6
second to.
62.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. 6209.
That's fine. That's
6209.
fine. It's at 60. 1600. I don't care.
Okay.
It's in the sixes and it's green. I don't care. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing is your background and it's not the green screen's not centered, but whatever. Fix it later.
Anyways, I wrote this a long time ago. It's the first I've read it in a while.
Yeah.
So the last thing was, oh yes, it's fascinating what they've accomplished by reviving various viruses and disseminating misinformation on vaccines that the humans have developed. I'm sure that's what you do during sleep time. Talk shop, muttered Giselle. A grey hand with 3 very long digits and 1 small one rested on her shoulder. Dr. Kostov patted her shoulder in silent commiseration. I'd love for you to finish your shift as scheduled and tell me all about it, Roddy, said Dr. Kostov, smiling. Giselle handed the journal to Roddy and moved out of the room as if floating on air. Her gracefulness on only 2 legs always amazed Roddy. Disabilities like that were sad, but Giselle never seemed to notice. He thought that her passion for this Earth experiment had a lot to do with humans being also 2-legged creatures. So long as she kept it to scientific rules of objectivity and unbiased reporting of analysis reports, she could root for whomever she pleased. Giselle left the lab and walked down the long white corridor to the teleport device. She peered into the windows of the labs on each side of the corridor. Sometimes the blinds were drawn and she could see others working. She knew that there were 200 Athrop scientists and researchers on board the Salma Dene, but the work-sleep schedules were such that you rarely saw anyone other than those with whom you worked. Her quarters were on deck 39 of the ship, and that was long enough in the teleport device to run into the odd person, as Roddy had done when he met Lavina from the Pestilence Project. Giselle had met a few female Athrops too, and that was a nice change. She had been enamored with one of them, but mating had not been prudent. Giselle placed a fingertip on the bright light in the center of the door to her quarters. The door whooshed open, and she stepped inside. The starkness of the rest of the ship was gone, and the walls of her space were covered in pashminas, scarves, and flags from her trips to Earth over the years of her assignment to the Salma Dene. Displayed in a glass bookcase near her bed were items she'd collected: a Discman, sunglasses, a purse, a pair of high-heeled sandals, a pair of pantyhose still in the package, rings, bracelets, and a pair of jeans. Giselle was fascinated by humans and wanted to know all there was to know about them. Her various trips to study them had been the most fun of this whole adventure. She wanted to be able to talk to them, though. Giselle crawled into bed and fell asleep, dreaming of a little girl in a blue nightgown with orange spots running right up to her and giving her the biggest, most wonderful hug. "Thank you for saving us," said the girl. Giselle, the two-legged heroine, would save the day. Outside of Giselle's room, the experiments went on as they had for hundreds of Earth's years. Humans knew that the moon controlled the tides and manifested incredible responses in the inhabitants of the Earth, from hormonal cycles to werewolves. They did not know that the Selma, Danae, and many other Athrop science vessels had been stationed on the dark side of the Earth's moon, facilitating these effects, as they had done for thousands of years, around the universe, harvesting from and exterminating life on one planet after another.
That was pretty good. Sorry. That was really good. By the way, you have a posted story in Discord.
Oh, do I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. So the novel is about this storm that comes and causes people to be either suicidal or homicidal, and so that's where the storm comes from. Is these guys mucking around in their spaceship on the other side of the moon.
You have one in Discord.
What are some of your favorite things to do when you're on here? Talk about writing, talk about relationships, and play games. But role play games, not shoot 'em up games.
Yeah, it was just weird. It just
Okay.
Twitch decided it was stupid. Yeah, we're sitting at 100%
Oh,
capacity.
what is it?
Benevolent.
Benevolent.
I just call him benevolent.
It looks like 11. Benevolent 11. That's your story?
It's a notepad one,
Okay, it's a notepad one.
but it's in Discord.
It's in Discord. So I can shut this Philith.
No, because it takes away the label.
Oh, all right. So, but I kind of minimized it in order to see Discord.
Yeah, I know. Don't minimize it. Open Discord on top of it.
Discord goes over there. So I can put that over there. Okay, hang on while I get into Discord.
Yep. It's like I said, it's going to open the thing and download the thing and do the thing.
Do the thing, another thing, the other thing.
Yeah. Yeah, watch your head if you can help it.
Philith books.
Something, I think the camera's dropped a little bit.
Okay. Camera's dropped. No, I was sitting too far forward.
Oh. I need to shower.
What the heck? Oh, here. So it's this one and I just expand it.
No, you can't. I don't think it will. Oh, yeah, you can. I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah, expand
That's a new one.
Okay.
Okay, I'm taking
So
my
this
headphones
is-
off for a minute.
This is by Benevolent.
And it's called
one
The
of-
Thing in the Window.
Oh, that doesn't
I
show.
forgot the title.
Oh, okay. So the thing in the window?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is by Benevolent, one of my viewers in the chat. The thing in the window?
Yep.
I'm pretty freaked out. That thing has been there for almost a week. The figure in the window. It looks fearless, only skin on a... Oh, this is not good. I'm missing half the words. So how do I get it out of there?
Okay, click see where it says message text down at the bottom?
Message. No? Oh, yeah.
Click it.
I think I have to download it.
Click it.
No, you have to click download. No, where is it? Here it is. Okay, there we go. That's better. Sorry, half the word sentence was missing. I'm pretty freaked out. That thing has been there off for almost a week. The figure in the window. It looks fearless, only skin on a human frame, and it's pressing itself against the glass somehow. Somehow. I don't know how it got there, and I don't know how to get rid of it. At first I thought it was a prank, a doll or mannequin that some jerk put there to scare me, but I realized as I walked out of the house to pull it away, it wasn't there. I shrugged it off, thinking that someone had hidden it while I was walking through my door. But when I went back in and looked out that same window, and it was looking in, staring at me. I walked around my house, yelling for whomever it was to come out, but no one was there. The thing is hairless and naked, and it didn't look like it actually had eyes or even a face at all, but its head is turned towards me when I enter the room. When I sit on my computer, I can feel its faceless, hairless hatred boring into my neck. When I turn around, it's innocently turned in a different direction. Finally, on Thursday, I tried to open the window, but it's stuck. I think the thing's hands are keeping it down, but I got a good look at its face. Its eyes and mouth are behind the skin, pushing outward. It stared at me, smiling. I pulled back a fist and smashed it into the glass, determined once and for all to get rid of the glaring monster. I know I'm strong enough. That glass should have cracked, but it didn't. It shuddered under my hand, but it didn't break. And that smile just got wider and wider and wider until I thought its head would break in half. It raised its own hand and bashed the window with its palm. It was mocking me, but I saw the faintest crack begin to appear where it had hit, and I backed away. No way did I want that smile in the same room with me. So I got a roll of duct tape and started covering the window. I couldn't look directly at it. I nearly shit my pants just knowing it was watching me. But I couldn't help it. Took a quick glance at the skin-covered face, a small peek. It was angry. That menacing grin was now a gaping frown full of teeth. The skin had ripped away from its mouth, and I could see down its cavernous throat. A menacing rumble started to fill the house, and that hairline crack began to spread like splintered ice. I pulled down the duct tape. The rumble stopped. The spilled skin healed over, and it began to smile again. No, now it's night, and the noise hasn't started again. There are no sounds, no rumble, no cracking glass. Everything's quiet now, but I can feel its claws gripping the back of my chair. I can hear its skin stretching as it smiles. It's watching me type. Ooh, creepy.
That was really creepy, actually.
That was creepy. That was very creepy. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, where'd your music go? Song change?
Maybe.
Yep.
There we go. Oh, that was creepy. So,
Oh, my brain is just not working tonight.
last week I said if you gave a story, but that was for last week's. However, if you give a story, then you should get a giveaway. One of the ebook giveaways.
do that.
So, can you whisper the benevolent? Do you want one of the giveaways? Want
Free ebook.
an ebook as a thank you for contributing? Can't find my chat. There it is. For contributing to.
You said, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Just send me a quick note. Get your details, and I'll send you the codes.
Yeah. So, well, you give him. What do you need from him? An email? Her? I don't know. An email address?
Nothing. I just whisper him the code.
Oh, okay.
He do it all himself.
Okay, so whisper to hyperlinks and
Oop,
there we
there's a
go.
follow.
Can you get mod? No, you cannot get mod. I have enough of those. Thank you. And thank you for the follow.
Oops, sorry. Did not mean to do that. I blew into the microphone.
Acominvid. Thanks for the follow. Alrighty. That creeped me out.
I'm trying to work on our network a little here. Trying to figure out where the internet's going.
Okay, so I made a note that. Oh, here it is here. I've read that one before. Page 50. Oh. Okay, this one's called With a View to Die For.
Sounds like a James Bond movie.
Yeah. All right. On the bluffs over the beach were several large high-end houses. Many of them were infrequently occupied by wealthy folks who lived mainly elsewhere. A wooden chalet-style house with a deck built right out to the edge of the bluff that included a hot tub and an insulated year-round shelter. Jen walked Jane and Stanley Murray to the door of the house and chatted politely with them as they left the home and walked to their car. She smiled and waved. They said they would think about whether or not to make an offer on the house and let her know. She knew that this property was not going to them. There were too many qualifications to their interest in it for the seller to consider. The Murrays had been looking at houses with her real estate company for 3 months now, and always there was something not quite right with them. Closing the door, she walked back into the kitchen and consulted the schedule on her laptop. Mr. and Mrs. Sandhu were the next appointment to view the house in 15 minutes. Jen Kempersky was one of the top Century 21 agents in Victoria. She had a knack for matching people to houses with an amazing intuitive understanding of what the buyers didn't say about their preferences. She had a good sense of what sellers would accept in compromises and treated the deal as if she were arranging an adoption. Her clients sent her affectionate Christmas greetings years after the sale. She was well liked amongst her co-workers in a very competitive business because she encouraged and supported them whether it meant her losing that particular commission or not. She managed to make her sales quota nonetheless. She slipped into the guest room to freshen up, closing the door even though there was no one else in the house. She washed her hands, refreshed her makeup, and brushed her hair. Jen returned to the kitchen and picked up her phone from the counter. She consulted the phone for text messages and walked to the balcony door from the dining room. Stepping out onto the deck, she looked out at the harbor view and was startled to note that there was no view. The harbor had disappeared into a fog so thick that she could see nothing but white beyond the railing of the deck. As she watched the railing disappear as well, Well, that's a bit creepy, she said to herself. Even more unnerving was the moaning that she could hear somewhere in that fog. She heard the front door slam and stepped back into the house to greet the Sandus. Robert had no idea why he was doing it. The whole thing was stupid. He'd seen the house listings for Jen in the paper and knew she was showing this one today. They ran open houses but also booked appointments, so there was a competitive sense to people looking at the house. Other people looking at it might make an offer first and so on. So there would likely be other people in the house, but she'd have to listen to him and be polite if that were so, right? Maybe not. Yeah, it was a stupid plan. Robert parked out front of the house and reconsidered. Jen's car was in the drive, but no other vehicle was visible. Not that you could see much in this weird fog. He thought about the last time he'd seen her and how angry she'd been with him. He'd said he was sorry for sleeping with one of his co-workers, but she didn't want to hear about it. Getting drunk at an office party was his first mistake. Going home with Nina was the second mistake. Lying to Jen about where he spent the night was the third one. How was he to know that Nina and Jen had a mutual friend? Today he would make it right. He had flowers and a ring for her. He was going to beg for a second chance and pledge his undying love. She wouldn't answer his calls or texts and had blocked him on social media. Dropping in to one of her open houses was the only way. Nodding to himself resolutely, Robert got out of his car and walked up the driveway. The door was unlocked and he went right in. Someone was running water in the washroom near the kitchen, and he saw no one as he walked through the main floor. He went upstairs and confirmed that the occupant of the washroom was the only one in the house. He heard her leave the washroom and then opened the balcony door at the back of the house. Descending the stairs, he reached to close the front door that he'd left ajar only to have it slammed shut. "Damn," he grumbled. Jen came out of the kitchen as he approached it. Her glad-to-meet-you smile faded, and a look of surprise followed by anger translated her beautiful features into a snarl. "What are you doing here? I told you that I never wanted to see you again. Get out!" Robert held out the flowers. Jen grabbed them and threw them to the floor before he could speak. "Jen, I love you. I told you that I'm sorry, and it will never happen again. I can't live without you, and I had to see you. Please forgive me." "Not happening. Nina told Candace that you were still sleeping with her. You can't even lie well, Robert." Jen opened the door and motioned for him to leave. Robert looked out the door and saw nothing but whiteness. Jen followed his glance and gasped. "What the hell is with this weather today?" they said in unison. There was a soft moaning in the fog that increased in volume, and screams that had been distant that were now very close. "Nina is entertainment. I love you," said Robert. "You are an asshole, and I don't love you anymore," she said. "I can't live without you," he said. The screaming sound in the fog seemed just behind him as he turned to leave the house. Robert walked down the driveway, and the fog parted to show him a clear path to his car. He opened the trunk and took out a duffel bag. In the duffel bag was a handgun. Robert returned to the house, and again the fog parted to allow him a clear path to the door. The moaning and screaming were deafening. He covered his ears to fend it off as he walked. Entering the house, he found Jen back out on the porch. She was sitting on the edge of the hot tub. It had the lid off and was happily bubbling so that viewers of the house could see it in operation. The fog was wrapped around her, and she was sobbing. The moaning was almost a backup chorus for her frightened wails. Robert noted her mascara was running on her face and wanted to wash it away. He loved her and wanted her to stop crying and shut up. Just listen to how much he loved her and quit being angry. But she was a bitch and had to have everything her way. Robert set the gun down on the nearest patio chair, and grabbed Jean by the shoulders. Listen to me for once. I don't want anyone but you. You are mine, said Robert, shaking Jane by the shoulders to emphasize each word. Jen struggled against him. He shoved her back into the hot tub. She fell in and scrambled to get up and out. He shoved her down under the water. She struggled, but he punched her a few times and held her head under the surface. Her struggling faltered and then stopped completely. Jen floated face down in the hot tub, her pretty face red and her lovely eyes bulging. The moaning and screaming grew so loud that the porch vibrated with it. Robert picked up the gun, put the barrel in his mouth, and pulled the trigger. On the counter in the kitchen, the screen of Jen's phone came to life, announcing a text message from Office Reception. Sandus cancelled. Weather too crappy. You are done. Jen's body floating in the hot tub, was experiencing a slow cook, and she was done in this reality, at least. The awning over the hot tub flapped rapidly in the wind, urging the fog to move on. The rain began to pour steadily, and the fog thinned as it shifted, taking her screams and his sobbing amongst its captives.
That's a creepy.
Was that creepy enough for you?
I thought it was creepy.
Alrighty. So, this, I have a problem here.
What's the problem?
The problem is, where the heck is OBS? Okay. The problem is that I'm getting a notice here that the Zoom meeting has ended because it's been idle for 40 minutes.
Okay.
So I have to and then it's going to close out. So.
Yeah. No, it's not. It should allow you to keep going.
No, it's gone. See the thing in the corner? There's no...
So just open up Zoom and start a new one. Don't schedule. I'll just start a new one.
Okay.
That's all you do. It'll fix itself.
You are using the computer audio.
Yep.
Good stuff. Okay, that's fixed.
Thank you, Captain Obvious, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure you maximize it.
Oh,
that's your mouse pointer. Don't you need a break?
So... How was that? Was that creepy enough for you?
Apparently so. They're so creeped out, they're quiet.
What are we doing for... Okay. All right, so I do actually need to take... What is that? No comments there. Okay. Does anybody else have a story they want to...
Lots of creepy.
Lots of creepies? Anybody else have a story they want to share? Given iBooks for that. And I did say that anyone whose face came on Zoom and would actually talk to me would get one of my...
Well, you're sending Chloe one anyways.
One of my t-shirts. Yeah, I can send her two, I suppose, now. Gets one of the Writers Open Mic t-shirts.
Which we have downstairs. No, we don't have one of those yet.
For free.
We have the other ones in stock now, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
We bought one.
Yeah. So, anyways, I need to take a break. And so I will be right back. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Yes, I'm live. Hello from Venezuela. Hello to Venezuela. Yo, yo, yo. I will see you later. Okay, join us again sometime soon. Alright. I will read something else, I think. Or should we do... Well, he just went to get a drink, so when he comes back we can do another draw. And I found another thing. Welcome. You're here. Welcome. And let me find this page. Oops, went too far. Alrighty, this one's called Getting to the Source. The glow of the computer monitors illuminated a small portion of the office. The room was dark except for that pool of light, although the shadows of cubicle walls and shapes of large potted plants sitting atop file cabinets could be determined. She compared the data on printouts with handwritten notes and then tapped briskly on her keyboard, watching the adjusted information filter through the database on the screen and then glancing at the other monitor to observe the changes it made to the spiraling lines over an image of North America. Clicking her mouse softly, she watched similar spiraling lines move over Europe and Russia. Back to the printouts and notes. She sifted through the papers layering her desk. Suddenly she sat bolt upright and slapped both hands down on the paper pile. That has to be it! Going back to her computer, she minimized several windows until she came to a browser window with the Devil's Graveyard's Vile Vortex in large red font. There was an image of the Earth with yellow icons arranged in two belts around the Earth's middle. The article discussed 12 vortices where there were reports of magnetic energy increasing in pulses and creating a wide range of anomalies. The Bermuda Triangle was the more recognized one of those spots. Machinery randomly stopped working, animals had behaved strangely, airplanes and ships had gone missing only to reappear years later. Severe storms were born in these areas. She noted that there was one of these spots just off the west coast of Mexico. Nuclear testing in the area had lowered the monitored magnetic energy level in the area until recently. She watched a clip of a documentary in which a team of scientists had studied another such spot in the Algerian desert. Using an electrical supercharge, they had attempted to negate the magnetic energy of the area and had created an explosive tornado, destroying their camp and killing most of the crew. She studied the statistics and anecdotal data of over 500 hurricanes worldwide and noted that those that began in these vile vortices were precipitated by a fog of a high magnetic energy, pulling low pressure and high pressure fronts together. The effect of this fog on any animals or people that encountered it was a bizarre range of behaviors. The documentary had noted the crew becoming hostile with each other prior to the explosion. Mob violence was common, and also a mass sense of morbidity with epidemics of random suicides reported following such storms. The desire to survive the wrath of the hurricane that followed was experienced almost as an afterthought rather than a natural human response to an extreme crisis. Reports of a rare hurricane in Toronto some 40 years ago stood out for her because the climate in that area was not statistically accustomed to this type of storm. The anecdotal evidence suggested that they perceived their neighbors to be more of a hazard than the storm, while reporting an overwhelming gloom that paralyzed their ability to react to the natural disaster adequately. Additionally, nightmares years afterward were a shared experience. Of the hundreds of storm data reviewed, only one storm in every generation would meet this criteria. She wondered if a certain level of magnetic energy had to build up for a storm to occur. We were about due, perhaps. She sifted through faxes and printouts, reading reports of a fog that seemed to overpower everyone in its path, causing vehicles to lose power and people to violently react to each other and against themselves. The blood and gore was horrifying just in the text. She couldn't quite wrap her head around what an image of this devastation would be like. Poking herself at her cell phone, she tried to find the words and waited for a familiar voice. CFAX News Department, Barry Dinsmore speaking. Hi, Barry. This is Sarah Matthews. We have a problem. Barry put his cell phone on the desk beside his keyboard and clicked through the links in Sarah's email. His eyes moved rapidly over the material. Her conclusions were appropriate to the facts presented. This was no surprise. Sarah was one of the best journalistic researchers he knew. Her data was always solid and in-depth. What's the hot story, Barry? Said Kevin, pausing to take in the suddenly ashen color to his co-worker's face. There's a storm coming in our direction. Should hit Victoria in about 24 hours. Yeah, the hurricane that's coming up the coast. No news there. Yes, but it's preceded by a fog that has a magnetic energy to it. Animals and humans act crazy, killing each other or themselves. Machines don't work. A fog? There's no mention of that in the weather alerts. Nope, no one has made the connection yet. The devastation is being attributed to panic and the hurricane. He turned and looked at Kevin. How the hell are we going to warn people? Without adding to the rumble of panic that's already making Victoria vibrate? Kevin glanced at his monitor, as an alert flashed on the screen. Another trampling in a grocery store. Fairways on Mackenzie is being ransacked by a mob as we speak. Barry ran his fingers through the sparse mop of gray hair, imagining that it had turned white in the last few minutes. I'm not sure anyone would believe it except those who are already too panicked to care, said Kevin. I am, however, sure that I don't want to be here to find out if it's true. With that, he grabbed his backpack and jacket and fled the building. Barry thoughtfully watched him leave, chewing on the inside of his cheek, a nervous habit that his wife had always hated, but it helped him to manage stress. He glanced at the time on his monitor and moved over to Kevin's keyboard. He scrolled up the window that was open and began typing. Breaking news. As Victoria buckles down in anticipation of the worst hurricane in recent West Coast history, with pillaging and looting becoming a constant occurrence, we have been advised that ahead of the hurricane is a thick fog. This fog has a magnetic energy to it. Machines stop working, including cars and elevators. Animals and people become hostile and violent. Be careful, Victoria. The worst is on its way. As Mandy and Michael, the early morning radio personalities, signed on to their radio time slot and the obligatory advertisements rang out from the newsroom speakers, Barry gathered his jacket and briefcase. He walked slowly from the building and wondered where his ex-wife was this morning. He'd like her to be safe. He got in his old battered Avio and drove north for the rest of the day. Warning bells sound.
You need to publish that book.
Yeah. The worst is on its way, read Mandy. She paused and looked at Michael. What the actual fuck? He said. The call-in board lit up with hysterical flashing lights. They both looked at it and then ran from the booth. The news traveled fast, and other radio stations and local television stations picking up the story throughout the day. The mounting tally of violent deaths, clearly not accurately attributed to the storm, added fuel to the story as it traveled south and east. There were those who scoffed and those who knew that the wrath of God took many forms. There were those who laughed at the tin hat conspirators and alien-fearing wackos. They went on with their day. Every coffee shop was filled with doubting discussions. Every highway was crammed with vehicles heading north. Schwartz Bay ferry terminal lot was full and down the highway for the entire day as thousands tried to get to the mainland and away from the fog. And then the air raid siren at Esquimalt base sounded shrilly when a heavy fog was sighted leaving Port Angeles just behind the last coho run by the crew of the ferry, who would have gotten out and paddled if it made the ferry divert to safer harbors faster. And there you go. Well, thank you for being here tonight. And that's another couple of chapters from this book that I'm working on. It needs that needs some editing, I noticed as I was reading it. And there's a bunch of chapters that need some research on storms and reporting and tracking, and then I need a couple of holes in the plot, so there's lots more work to do to it. Should we do another and my book, you notice the link there for my Patreon account. Anyone who is a patron and gets a membership of my Patreon account will get advanced access to Untethered, which is my next book to come out. So, do we want to do a giveaway? Do we want to do another giveaway? How are we doing? 158?
Yeah, we could. Want to do a thing first?
Anybody that... Oh, I got hiccups.
Oh, good. Not again.
Yeah. Anybody that has not entered yet, it's !books if you want a giveaway. There we go. Yeah. Okay, we'll give you a couple of minutes to do that.
And if you already won, then, there's no point in putting it in. The bot's going to ignore you.
Yeah, but anyone who is a regular...
If you're a regular, you get a 50% bonus. And if you're a subscriber, you get 10 times more likely to win.
Yep.
No yawning. It is against the rules.
I did have a thing going in the past
The Tuesday stream?
Twitch stream that if you subscribed, you could have your choice of merch for
Jeez, don't tell them
free.
that.
For free.
Don't tell them that. Grammy, what's for dinner? Oh dear.
What's for dinner?
Somebody said, "Hey mom." Drop child. That's a nice name. Not my brother, are you? I dropped him.
Drop child.
Oh dear. Just ignore it. It might be.
You might be.
I dropped my brother on when he was younger.
Yeah.
That explains an awful lot, doesn't it? dropped him because my sister sat in a hornet's nest and I got stung.
Hmm. All the people asking.
Yep.
What's for dinner? I don't know what's for dinner. I came on here and dinner was still being cooked.
I can tell you what's for dinner.
Dinner was still being cooked, so I haven't had mine yet.
I can tell you what's for dinner.
One time I fell in my toilet. Really?
Wow, really? Okay. Yeah, I've done
That must have been a flushing experience.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've done that because somebody left the seat up. I didn't look and I
I've
sat
done
down.
that too. I've done that too.
That actually hurts.
You sit, the seat's up and you sit and it's freaking cold. That's what it is.
Very wet too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you don't go to the bathroom half asleep.
Mm.
Turn on the light and look down.
Absolutely.
Especially if you have kids. My brother was notorious for doing that. Of course, you know, I'm the same person that also puts saran wrap over the toilet bowl and shut the lid.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, do the draw.
Soap bubbles in the thing. Oops, that's not allowed.
I veto that decision.
How did it do that?
I don't know, but
It shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, mods aren't allowed.
You know what's funny is it's turned off. Mods are off, so I shouldn't have been able to win, but it threw me in there.
Mods are not allowed.
That's weird. Let's try that again. Let's do another demo. I shouldn't have done that. That's bizarre. There you go.
There are other treats for mods.
Woohoo, cookies. Can I have a cookie?
But it's not showing anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it still says the same thing. Oh.
Shouldn't I have a winner?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming on to my stream.
Here, I'll do this. This was the winner.
Who was the winner?
This.
Oh, why didn't it show it up?
I don't know, but I'm looking at the winner.
Oh. Hi Hickenshore.
Nice.
Hickenshore?
Sure.
Hickenshore, you have won the giveaway. You need to whisper to Hyperlinks 256 and he will tell you how to claim your prize. And Prostresis, thanks for
Sorry.
Thanks for the good thoughts. Hickenshire says whisper. Can you explain?
Just click on my link and chat. If you click on my name there, right where I pasted your name, that was one of your options.
Right click or left?
Left.
Left.
Yeah.
No, it's right click.
But no, it's left.
Because when I click on you. Left.
Yes, because you're a mod.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. It's left click.
See? I told you.
It's a left click. Yes, please follow me. Also, feel free to subscribe. Subscribers get treats.
Do I get a treat?
You're not a subscriber, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are the
I'm
only
your only subscriber
the
at the
only
moment.
subscriber. Yes, well, there you go.
But I get treats anyways. But we won't discuss that in here. This is not a PG-friendly channel.
So, how about we do one more draw? One more giveaway?
Maybe this one will work?
Yeah.
Hang on, I got some more eligible people that just popped in.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have completely ignored me.
If you want into the draw, do exclamation point iBooks.
Hang on. Give them a minute. Give them a minute. Now, you're not allowed to win there, buddy.
Why?
Because he just did.
Oh.
It's being stupid.
Uh-huh.
Chat's being stupid. L to the O. There you go.
And hello. It's clicking too fast. Pagan something. Hello to you, too.
Notice those other two stopped talking?
Which other two?
Which other two?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you ignored them. And I didn't touch them. Right? They leave on their own if you don't feed them.
Alrighty. Good heavenly days.
How did they know you're Grammy? Oh, Gamer Nana.
Yeah, Gamer Nana.
I like that shirt. I should wear it.
Yeah, check out my merch. I have a
We should have worn it out today.
one for Among Us that it's hashtag Gamer Nana.
Yeah, we should have worn that out today.
And
That would've been
another one
entertaining.
that's hashtag, says hashtag streamers do it live.
Jesus Christ, you guys. Give it a rest.
All right. Hola.
That's enough. That's everybody.
Okay, do the draw.
Do the draw. You gonna work this time?
Yeah, hopefully.
That was bizarre.
That was weird.
I think it messed up when it picked me, and it knew it shouldn't have. Hey, this guy's won before.
Herposiel has won the giveaway.
Glad you can say that.
Herposiel. I'm glad you like to watch. Everyone always asks me to tell them
okay, never
stories.
mind.
What?
Nope.
Nope, 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 nope.
Not going there.
Okay.
Says he likes to watch. Not going there.
Likes to watch me.
So do I, but usually sleeping. Oh, wait, that's creepy.
That's creepy. So I read a bunch of creepy stuff. We had Chloe. We had Benevolent.
Something?
Kick
What is
in-
called benevolent?
Kick in his or her story, and we read that.
I think it's a him, but we're not going to go there because we got in trouble once doing that. Oh, geez, I got 3 whispers tonight. Holy crap, whatever am I going to do?
There you go. Okay.
Trying to say we're done?
I think that.
Wore you out today?
I got 5 more minutes.
Yeah, we can sit and chit chat for 5 more minutes. I'm sure we can.
Yeah, to chat for 5 more minutes till we hit top of the hour. So, anybody got a joke for me?
Sorry, actually, I don't. Not this time.
No jokes?
Not for me.
Okay, so did Herposiel?
Yep.
Message you?
He was number 3.
Okay. Let me know if you have problems collecting on those giveaways, please.
What did the pecan say to the walnut?
What?
We're both friends. We're friends because we're not both nuts.
We're friends because we're both nuts.
Why couldn't the pony sing a lullaby?
Why
He
could
was a little horse.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
Yeah, I think I told that one. Okay, we won't do the one with the phone sex and the holes because you didn't get that one.
No. Alrighty.
I hate it when I go to hug someone really sexy and my face smashes right into the mirror.
I like that. I like that. I didn't mean to keep you waiting.
What did the traffic lights say to the car?
What?
Don't look, I'm about to change.
Ah.
What do you call a boomerang that won't come back? A stick.
A stick?
A boomerang that won't come back.
Oh, a stick. Yeah. Yeah.
This is my step ladder. I never knew my real ladder.
That's kind of sad, actually.
Kind of sad.
Kind of sad.
You asked for jokes. These guys aren't working, so.
Yes. All right. Well,
What? What's that got to do with a joke?
What?
How do you tell if a vampire is sick? By how much he is coughing.
it's coffin.
Coughing, get it?
Coffin. Yes.
What do you call a sleeping bull?
What do you call a sleeping bull?
A bulldozer.
A bulldozer.
What do you call a running turkey? Fast food.
A running turkey is fast food.
That's funny, actually.
Did you see? My daughter-in-law posted a picture of a wild turkey was in their backyard. They live
Oh,
out in the boonies, and there was a wild turkey in their backyard. So dinner came to visit.
yeah, did they catch it?
I'm not sure. Thank you.
Oh, this is a bad science joke.
What?
I could tell you a science joke, but all the good ones are gone.
Argon. Okay.
Didn't say it was a good joke.
Okay.
Are monsters good at math? Not unless you count Dracula.
Count Dracula. 1,
Oh, don't do that. Copyright infringement.
2.
My wife told me to take a spider out. Take the spider out instead of killing him. We went out, had a few drinks. Nice guy. He's a web designer.
Alrighty then.
You didn't even like that one?
No, I did not like that one.
Okay.
I did not like it. I think that we're a done deal. My eyeballs are done, and I